Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general message intended for Virgo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for April 2020. I do hope that this video finds you relatively well and in good health and spirits, and if it doesn't, I hope it offers some points of reflection and tools for whatever challenges or situations you find yourself in right now. Obviously, with the pandemic, there is just so much that I could talk about, and I actually do want to make a separate video about the pandemic, and specifically about Saturn entering Aquarius. I am going to kind of be peppering that in this video, and in full transparency, I've actually tried recording this video several times, and I'm just going to kind of go into the cards and trust whatever comes up is what needs to be mentioned for you right now. But know that those videos are coming, and in the meantime, I've also been posting messages of the day on my Instagram, and they are also on Facebook as well. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, definitely check the description box down below where I have all of my links for my social media. And follow me on Instagram. If you don't have an Instagram, you're also welcome to go to the Facebook page. You don't even need to have an account on Facebook to view that page and to view the videos that I'm uploading, so you can still watch it that way as well. I do also have links for personal readings and Reiki sessions, as well as donations for those of you who feel so called. I was offering a 20% discount through the month of March for reaching 40,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you all so much who have supported me through this crazy journey. And it's been really a gift, especially this past month, to be able to do this work. I've really been so grateful. I am actually extending my sale indefinitely because of kind of the financial climate that we're in. And I do plan to keep putting out that free content as well, because I do feel that these messages, this guidance is so important for what we are going through collectively. I am going to start shuffling some cards for you now, Virgo. And as I'm kind of doing that, I also kind of want to bring our attention to the fact that Venus is going to be retrograde. That is going to be happening, I believe, April 4th. So pretty soon. We're going to be starting that right at the start of this month. And Venus is the planet of love. It's also the planet of money and possessions. And wow, you know, Venus retrograde happens like once every year and a half or so, or every 2 years, something around that time frame. And I do feel like it's really going to be a time with us being in quarantine where we're thinking about our exes a lot. We're thinking about our old relationships a lot. And we're also going to really be feeling unstable, you know, financially or just in our own lives. There could be a lot of insecurity that's coming up for the collective. And not for nothing, we do have Uranus that's been hanging out in Taurus. I did say at the start of this year, just saying, I did the year ahead reading with my friend Ellie. And I did say, we have Uranus in Taurus. There is going to be a lot of economic changes that are going to be happening at some point during this transit. And with Saturn entering Aquarius, it's actually going to be squaring, I believe. Yeah, squaring that energy in Taurus. So it's not very comfortable. And I think it makes perfect sense that we're kind of seeing a lot of economic repercussions as a result of this pandemic. It's kind of just the energy that we've been leading into really for, if we want to be honest, decades. You know, this shift has been coming, this change has been coming, and I really do believe that what we are seeing is just the catalyst here. You know, this is just the beginning, and I don't want people to hear that and freak out, but I was saying in my blogs, and I was saying in my individual readings with people, with my clients, I did feel like 2020 was going to be the test. You know, for those of us who came into spirituality recently, or even in the past few years, it's like all of these skills that we've been learning, all of these techniques that we've been practicing, they're really going to be pushing us, you know, to the, you know, grinding us to the core here. And it's like, this is the test. This is what we've been training for. And we are all alive at this time for a reason. I do believe that. I believe we incarnated to be part of this transition. Interesting. And I already have a few cards here on the table. I'm kind of just going very intuitive with this reading because, again, I think that's just the times we're in right now. Things have to be very fluid, kind of go with the flow. I do have an Ace of Cups and a Six of Swords here on the table, and I don't ordinarily read this deck in reverse. I did have this Ace of Cups come out in reverse, and I also have this Six of Swords that came out in reverse as well. And I feel like this is really talking a lot about this Venus retrograde. And I am kind of pulling this reversal energy from these two. Because some of us are having a hard time moving on from something that couldn't be. Or there was this delay. Interesting. And Virgo, I'm going to be honest, things actually look okay for you, for this collective. Obviously, general reading, so not all of these messages apply to everyone watching this reading at once. Some of these messages might resonate, others won't. But in general, Virgo, you're still looking pretty solid with this Empress energy. Things may not be feeling the best. You might feel stuck in your situation. But I think it's really important to be grateful for the things you have right now. And I kind of talked about this in one of the messages of the day. Our sense of security and stability doesn't have to come from externals. It doesn't have to be conditional on what we have, on our income, on whatever it is that we have available to us physically. Because the most stability you could have is the ability to adapt to any situation. And that's something that is really at your core. What else do we have for Virgo here? That's too many. Let's try that again. Okay, we have the Four of Swords, which is very appropriate for the energy we're in right now. We're kind of in isolation, we're in quarantine, we're recharging. And I was also talking about this in one of the messages I did recently. It was actually the most recent message I did, which was the spiral of change. Again, that's on Instagram, on my Facebook. And a lot of the time we use doing as a coping mechanism to not deal with our own emotions. And Virgo, we're all in this situation right now with the Six of Swords in reverse and this Ace of Cups. I actually feel like this is you not being able to escape your own emotions and really needing to nurture and take care of yourself this month, because you're going to be playing an important role either with the people in your life or perhaps even on a larger scale for a lot of you. And this time isn't supposed to be about doing. Intuitively, what I have heard, this time isn't about doing, it's about the undoing. We're kind of allowing ourselves to unravel. We're letting go of things that are no longer serving us. And I know a lot of people in social media and a lot of people who have been clients have been asking me, like, when are things going to go back to normal? When do we go back to the way things were? Or kind of just referencing that time period. It's not even a question. It still seems like people are just assuming we're going to go back to normal. And we're not going to be in quarantine forever, but we're going to be dealing with the ramifications of this for years. I want to be real. I'm being honest. Things are changing. This is part of a transformation process that we're all going through together. And Virgo, right now, you really need to recharge. You're going to get this spark this Ace of Wands, which feels really, really good. And we also have this Mother of Wands here. Some of you may really want to be doing something creative and really wanting to tap into that, but it feels like you just can't. And you're like, why can't I do it? You may have been telling yourself, I'm going to create more during quarantine, during lockdown. You need to give yourself permission to rest and gain a new perspective on things. You're gaining a lot of spiritual downloads, actually, with this Four of Swords. Yep, that's what I thought. We have the World coming out with the Father of Wands. There is a new world. And I'm not talking about the new world that we're going to see at the end of this year. Because I'm going to be honest. I always am with you. We're going to be seeing changes happen more in the form of revolution, of activism. And that's going to be happening more so in 2021 and 2022. 2020, we're in this awkward dance with Saturn going between Aquarius and Capricorn. I actually wrote about this in last month's astrology blog. Again, that's on my website. Kind of for that forecast, I talked a lot about Saturn entering Aquarius and what we can kind of expect this year. And we really need Virgos to step in their power. And if you have a lot of intense emotions coming up, it's you going through these layers of healing that you need to do in yourself that are going to help other people around you. And I don't know about all of you, I've been thinking, like, this past few weeks, like, so much about the past few years. And I wrote about this, again, in that astrology blog I was just talking about. It's like, I feel like I've just been trained for this time. And it's like, I had a lot of instability over these past few years, and we are kind of in this real test now. That is what this year is about. Yeah, this Page of Swords, Page of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles in this deck keeps wanting to come out. Some of you are actually learning new skills. You may be taking online courses. You may be looking into new topics. I know there's a lot of resources that are also widely available right now. I want to say there's like deals with like, I know there's a lot of discounts on online courses and maybe some ebooks as well. I think Audible was doing something kind of just in response to all of the quarantines that we are in right now. So you may be learning something. You may be learning new skills, but this is also that timid energy I was talking about. And it's like, you kind of want to stay behind the scenes. You might be afraid to step into this role that you're coming into very quickly. So use this time to rest and use this time to recuperate, Virgo, because I swear you're going to be in a very different position in the next few months. And I'm not saying that ominously, by the way. I think things are going to get worse and they're going to get better at the same time. And where you fall in that spectrum is a lot of how you hold your energy and how you react to your emotions. We need people to be vulnerable. We need people to own their vulnerability, and not in a way where they're kind of just trying to dump it on somebody else, okay? We need people to lead by example. And Virgo, I'm not making fun of you, but we are the sign that understands fear and anxiety very, very well. We're the masters of it because we had to learn how to deal with it. And you are finding this inner stability. You are finding this inner fire. I do want to pull an animal card here for you too. Oops, sorry about that. What is the animal wisdom for Virgo? Interesting. Wow. Okay, so some of you are really having a very strong month, intuitively and spiritually. You have the lamb and the unicorn, which represents the third eye. And the lamb is specifically about listening. And if you find your thoughts racing, quiet your mind. So much of the communication that we're having right now is so artificial because we're communicating over virtual platforms like phone calls, video chat, text messages. It's like this constant stream, and we're lacking this natural pause that kind of comes up in organic conversation. That quiet, that listening, really sharing that silence together. Virgo, it's going to be so important for you to meditate this month because I think you're actually going to be getting messages. A lot of you are going to be receiving guidance from spirit guides or disincarnate beings. And this is a month to really savor the gentleness when you can. And to be very relaxed with your nervous system, because we do have this mouse energy as well. And this is such a Virgo card, because the mouse is very detail-oriented. It's trying to get everything in order. It's trying to get everything... It's like this nitpicky energy a little bit, and it's very... It can be a very anxious energy if it's unchecked. The way to use this, however, is actually to use your mind in a productive way. In a creative way, progenitive way. So working on a creative project, again, that's just coming up a lot. I know a lot of Virgos are writers too, so I wonder if there's like a writing project here. And I think I'm going to pull one more oracle card for all of you. And this is actually the Starseed Oracle. And this deck, I just picked it up on a whim, and it's been so relevant to the times we are in right now. For those of you who are interested, I do have the link, all the decks I use in the description box. But it's the Starseed Oracle. And it's by Campbell. I'm just going to pull a card here and see what comes up for my Virgos. What is the Starseed message for my Virgos? Show me clearly. Ooh. Interesting. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. This is beautiful. I think this is why you really need to quiet your environment. And actually, Virgo, I'm also feeling like you need to take a sabbatical. Like, I want those of you who can to take a time, like a day off of social media. And I know that seems crazy, especially right now. Maybe even just turn your phone on airplane mode. And just let the people in your life know, like, hey, I'm not going to be available this day. Don't try and reach out to me. Really get into this present moment. Let's see what the book has to say here. So, child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. There's a mysterious force that governs all of life, an intelligence that when to bloom. An intelligence that tells flowers when to bloom and the tides and seasons when to come and go. That intelligence is within you too. It was there before you drew your first breath, and it will be there well beyond your last. It's the part of you that informed every cell what to do when you were in your mother's womb. It's harder to resist this force than it is to surrender to it, because Earth is a planet of polarity and free will. It's easy to forget that this intelligence exists within us. So often we become disconnected from this pulse of life and fall into the pattern of believing that we are separate or feeling that we need to go it alone. We can feel isolated and as if we need to figure out things for ourselves, to rely on our own strength. You're being called to remember the intelligence that's within each and every one of your cells, to remember that you're a precious child of a loving, gentle universe, that you have access to all the intelligence, wisdom, strength, flow, and qualities there ever were, are, or will be, and to remember that if flowers know exactly when and how to bloom, then you do too. And the question for you is, how can you surrender more deeply to the intelligent flow of life? And this is so interesting, Virgo, because there is going to be this moment of organic inspiration for you this month where you have this Ace of Wands moment, and maybe it happens after kind of this spiritual download here, but you can't rush into it. And so much of what the time we are in right now, we're all kind of in this hanged man energy where we're sort of, our lives have kind of been turned up on their heads, and we can't really move right now. We're just forced to kind of reflect and look at things from a different angle. And really, this is kind of serving us as a time to reflect on what has been working and what hasn't been working, what we want to bring in kind of a new way of living that we are all going to be phasing into for the next few years, really. And really trusting that whatever it is that feels blocked or stuck in your life, like if you can't move forward, you're not supposed to yet. Something is still incubating. Something is still in that womb. And again, Virgo, really strong spiritual energy here. And try and use this, if you have this anxious energy, really using this analytical ability of yours in a productive way. Not just trying to see all the ways that things can go wrong. What are different strategies that you can use? What are different ways that you can go about the changes we are in? Because again, you have a very important role to play in all of this. Those are all the messages I have for you right now, Virgo. I do hope that this was helpful. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what's going on for all of you. I'd love to hear some feedback. Obviously, this was kind of a little bit of a different reading with everything we're going through. Again, all of my links are in the description box down below for social media, for personal services like readings or Reiki sessions, and I will see you all in the next video.